Good evening and welcome inside Millett Hall for a Red Hawk Radio presentation of Miami women's basketball on a chilly Wednesday night here in Oxford, Ohio. Current weather is 33 degrees, but it's set to get colder as the night progresses. But it is perfect weather and perfect time for basketball here now in February, about a month away from the MAC tournament, and it is prime time for the RedHawks to be playing their best basketball. My name is Andrew Relvas. Appreciate you for tuning in once again to a Red Hawk Radio presentation of Miami women's basketball. About 21 minutes away from tip-off here between the Miami RedHawks and the Eastern Michigan Eagles at about 7 o'clock. In terms of this all-time series, the RedHawks have dominated it all-time, 43-25 in about 70 matchups. The RedHawks recently, though, have had their struggles against these Eastern Michigan Eagles. They are 3-7 in their last 10 versus the Eagles visiting from Ypsilanti. But, however, the RedHawks in their most recent matchup on February 24th of last year, it was a 48-37 home victory against the Eastern Michigan Eagles. And Miami is looking to extend a little streak to 2 games against these Eastern Michigan Eagles. At home as well, Miami 2-3 in their last 5 against Eastern Michigan in Millett Hall, but they're looking to flip the script on that recent trend. And of course, the first matchup about 40 years ago on February 9th, 1980. Well, turning it over to the RedHawks, Miami, really strong start to the season and a really strong non-conference record has propelled them into a nice spot in the conference plan where they have not let up. Their current record is 12-5. They are 500 in the MAC, 5-5 through 10 games, tied for 5th out of 12 in the MAC. Of course, they're tied with the Bowling Green Falcons, who are 11-10 overall. So very similar records, very similar resumes. And Miami trying to get going here, facing off against an Eastern Michigan team that has struggled certainly this season so far. Of course, Miami, they haven't made the MAC tournament in about 7 years. They last had a winning season in 2018. It was 23-9, and they are looking to get there this season, trying to break kind of a long streak of losing seasons. Well, RedHawks in their most recent game really found success against an old rival, the Ohio Bobcats. It was the Battle of the Bricks at home, round 1 of 2 between two bitter rivals. On the men's side, the men absolutely took care of business against a tough OU team, but on the women's side, more importantly, Miami won 72-34. That was the biggest margin of victory in the Battle of the Bricks, and that long-storied rivalry took care of business, winning by nearly 40 points. Really set a statement not only versus OU, but on the MAC itself, that they can really compete with these big teams. Winning 72-34 on Saturday, a really strong step in the right direction for the RedHawks, who are scraping for victories. In that game, winning by, once again, nearly 40 points. 2 players were in double figures, and Miami shot 53% from the floor, 39% from deep, and 50% from the free throw line. It's going to win you a lot of games if you're shooting that well from all 3 margins. And in that game as well, Miami made 10 3-pointers, 10 for 26, so about 40%, really good stuff there from outside the arc. And this was a very strange game because in this one we only saw about 12 free throws for both sides. Just a pretty clean game of basketball, very unusual. You don't see that happening too often, but Miami 2 for 4 at 50% from the free throw line. They did turn the ball over 22 times, however, but Miami still won by 38. Very strange game of basketball, but you will absolutely take the wins if you're Miami. In that game, Angelina Gonzalez was the leading scorer, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals, along with a block. Filling the stats like she's been doing all year long. Meanwhile, the second scorer leading the RedHawks, it was Maya Chandler, the SMU transfer, 17 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal on the afternoon. Defensively, the RedHawks limited the Bobcats to 24% shooting from the floor, 18% from deep, That was 4 for 22 and 50% from the free throw line, 4 for 8. And they also forced 20 turnovers in that contest against the Bobcats. And Miami out-rebounded OU 45-27. So they really did everything well. RedHawks are rolling. They're looking to pick up back-to-back wins here in MAC play in about 15 minutes. For this Miami team as well, very similar to the team we saw last year. Brought back 7 players. They also lost about 7 players, but most of those players to graduation, including Jaden and Jada Scott, 2 top performers last year. They only lost 1 player in the transfer portal. That was Maddie Hoon. The rest graduation, so really pretty much the same squad from last year, and they added big in the transfer portal with Maya Chandler, Angelina Gonzalez, both of those players who are among the leaders in scoring, and Camille Jackson, who was a Power 5 transfer from Illinois. So a really good offseason has propelled the RedHawks to a 12-8 start in about 2/3 of the season completed. Turning it over to Eastern Michigan, this is a team that has really struggled to start off the season. They come in to tonight with a record of 1-19. They are 0-10, winless in the MAC, 12 of 12, and they are on a 14-game losing streak. Trying to turn some things around, trying to right the ship, and trying to keep above water as we get closer and closer to the end of this season. Last year, the Eagles struggled once again. They had a 7-22 overall record, 3-15 in the MAC, which was last, and they missed the tournament. This team has had 5 losing seasons in the last 10. You wouldn't really feel that way, especially with the recent results, but this Eastern Michigan team did make the NCAA tournament about 13 years ago. They made the MAC tournament more recently than Miami. So this team, they've had success recently. They've also struggled. So it's kind of an up and down program, but trying to turn this team around. This is the first year of the Sahar Nusay regime, coming previously as a coach from Canisius. So this is her first season as the leader of the Eastern Michigan Eagles squad, and she's trying to rebuild this team back to its former glory. Of course, Sahar Nusay, she was a coach on Miami's squad not too long ago, just a few years ago. She was an assistant from 2019 to 2021, so this is a little bit of a homecoming for Sahar Nusay. And then after that Miami assistant job, she transitioned to Canisius. She was the head coach for about 3 years, and then Eastern Michigan hired her after about 3 years coaching the Golden Griffins. For Eastern Michigan, of course, on a 14-game losing streak, but they last fell on Saturday to the Toledo Rockets at Savage Arena, 49-77. Tough game for the Eagles. 2 players in double figures. They shot 32% from the floor, 15% from 3, and 62% from the free throw line. They also made 3 3-pointers, shooting 3 for 20, 8 for 13 from the free throw line, and 13 turnovers. The top scorers, Sissy Aleko, 16 points and 12 rebounds, one of the top scorers in the MAC. Player to watch out for, and Olivia Smith, a returner from last year's squad, 14 points, 1 rebound, and 3 assists. Defensively, Toledo shot 61%, 40% from deep, and 65% from the free throw line. Also turning the ball over 16 times. Rebounding was pretty much right down the middle, but Toledo out-rebounding Eastern Michigan 16-13 in that Saturday contest out on the northern side of the state. This team returning 7 out of the 15 from last year, most notably Olivia Smith, Zanaya Nelson, and Olivia Westfall, among others. They also lost Lachelle Austin to Ball State, Tyra Ike to Washington, and Kennedy Miles to graduation, along with Nia Boston also graduating, but losing a lot of production from last year's team. And they refilled in the transfer portal really well, picking up Sissy Aleko, the Canisius Golden Griffins transfer. And Aleko is one of the top scorers in the MAC, number 2 currently, right behind Chella Watson, who's averaging about 20 points a game. Sissy Aleko, 19 points a game. I mean, she's pretty much a double-double threat every single night, and that is certainly the player the RedHawks need to watch out for. Also adding a few other Canisius players and Jada Williams from St. Peter's. So a team that has certainly reloaded in the transfer portal. They've struggled this season, but the stats and the performances are certainly there for Sissy Aleko of Eastern Michigan. We'll turn it over to a scoreboard look. Good amount of top 25 games going on tonight on Wednesday, February 5th. Turning it to the Big 12, starting at 7 o'clock, it's Kansas at West Virginia. Then number 18, West Virginia Mountaineers trying to get win number 18 and trying to stay cruising in the Big 12, facing off against a stingy Kansas Jayhawks team on the road in Morgantown. At 7:30, over in the Big 10, it'll be the number 7 ranked USC Trojans, led by Juju Watkins, facing off against the Wisconsin Badgers in Madison. Wisconsin 11-11, trying to take down a really hot USC team that is really talented, visiting from Southern California. Tips off at 7:30. A little bit after this one tips off. Another 7:30 start onto the Big 12. It's TCU versus Kansas State. The number 9 ranked TCU Horned Frogs facing off against the number 12 ranked Kansas State Wildcats. Both those two teams 21-2. That game in Manhattan, Kansas. So it'll be a road test for the TCU Horned Frogs, but should be a fun one in the Big 12. And the final game of the night, this is another really good one in the Big 10. It's the number 8 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes facing off at Poley Pavilion against the number 1 ranked UCLA Bruins, led by Betts. Should be a phenomenal matchup later tonight at 9:30. Only one loss combined between those two teams, and just a really exciting matchup to keep an eye out on in Southern California. Those are the top 25 matchups. We'll turn it over to the Mid-American Conference, where we've already got 3 games underway. The first one, Western Michigan at Akron at the Jar. The Western Michigan Broncos leading by 3 at the break, 34-31. Of course, Akron trying to make the MAC tournament. Western Michigan 5-5, tied right there with the RedHawks and Bowling Green. So this is a must-win game for Western Michigan. They're leading by 3, but Akron not far behind them, 34-31 at the half. About 1:44 left to go in the first half. Central Michigan all over Ohio, 23-8. The Chippewas are leading by 15, and they're looking to build some more momentum as they head into the break. 23-8 at Mount Pleasant. The Chippewas leading the Bobcats. Another game going on, Bowling Green at Ball State. That one is a interesting one to look out for because Ball State undefeated in MAC play so far, 10-0 and an 18-4 overall record. Leading by 4 at home, 3:23 left to go in the first quarter, but should be a matchup to watch out for because Bowling Green could really upset a few teams here and there. They're a good squad, and they're right there with the RedHawks at 5-5 in the MAC. Game that already went final, Toledo over Buffalo, 58-55. Toledo, number 4 in the MAC right now, and Buffalo right there with them, tied for 4th place. Miami will face Buffalo in a little bit, but kind of a big time win there for Toledo. I don't want to call it an upset, but Buffalo certainly one of those top teams in the MAC that is led by a top scorer in Chella Watson. So the Rockets winning by 3 on the road, 58-55. One more game. It's Kent State at NIU. The Kent State Golden Flashes, the number 2 team in the MAC, trying to pick up a road victory over the NIU Huskies at DeKalb, Illinois. Well, that was the scoreboard look. Some big-time matchups both on the national stage and the conference stage. Turning it back here to Millett Hall, the keys to the game here for the RedHawks with about 6.5 minutes left to go until tip-off. Well, number 1, RedHawks need to get scoring going early from Angelina Gonzalez, averaging 17 points a game for her, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists along with 2 steals. I mean, Angelina Gonzalez on a tear. We've seen her play phenomenally from start to finish, and it really kicked off after that Western Kentucky game where she started off her streak of 22 points, and she's only increased that to now 6 games of over 20 or more points. Expect to see a similar performance against, quite frankly, a depleted Eastern Michigan team. But Gonzalez has been on a tear. She's scored in double figures since December 1st, so it's about a 2-month streak that she's been red hot, scorching hot from the floor, from deep, from the free throw line, just everywhere for the RedHawks, and she's really come up big for Miami. So number one, got to see Angelina Gonzalez continue what she's been doing best and being a real scoring threat, and she certainly can be. She's really dangerous in transition, and I expect a similar type of game tonight against Eastern Michigan. Of course, Angelina Gonzalez is the number 3 scorer in the MAC, and she will face off against the number 2 scorer in the MAC in Sissy Aleko, averaging 2 more points than her at 19. So number one, got to get Angelina Gonzalez going offensively. Number 2, the RedHawks need to limit those turnovers. Although they did turn the ball over 22 times, they still won nearly by 40. So that game, a little bit of an outlier, but we've seen in those kind of Toledo games and the Kent State games where the RedHawks have about 12 turnovers and they lose by 4 points. Got to limit the turnovers. You hope it can be in single digits. If not, hopefully can force some more turnovers, but have to limit these turnovers, especially early against an Eastern Michigan team that's looking to start out hot against the Miami team, trying to scrape some victories here in the MAC. And the number 3 concept that the RedHawks need to take care of, it's the rebounding battle. Going to be facing off a big rebounding talent in Sissy Aleko. Of course, Sissy Aleko stands at 6'2". The matchup will likely be Amber Treader, who's averaging 10, 11, and 8. That should be a fun matchup. Both those 2 players right there, nearly double digits in terms of rebounding. The RedHawks need to win the rebounding battle. They need to control it physically and expect that kind of combination of Treader and potentially Ilsa DeFries to crash the boards on Sissy Aleko and try and make her life tough. But should be a fun matchup here in Millett Hall. About 3 minutes left to go. Should be a fun one here in just a little bit. As a reminder, I'll be at the half breaking everything down and see if the RedHawks can pick up MAC win number 6 on a really phenomenal start to the season. And hopefully the RedHawks can get out to a big first half lead and try and carry that momentum into the second half. Well, that's going to do it here from the Red Hawk Radio pregame show. My name is Andrew Relvas. I'll catch you at the halftime break. In the meantime, we'll take a break. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on Red Hawk Radio.
From Millett Hall in Oxford, Ohio, coming off one of the biggest wins in program history, potentially, for the Miami RedHawks, a 38-point thumping of the Ohio Bobcats. They've got the Mac's other green team in the house here tonight. Things have not gone so well for Eastern Michigan this season in year one under Suhar Nusebe. Former Miami RedHawk assistant makes her way back to Oxford here tonight. Alongside Bryan Miller, Poley with you as Miami gets set to clash with Eastern Michigan here on this Wednesday night from Southwest Ohio. Let's toss things over to public address and Scott Schreiber with your national anthem. Poley, Bryan Miller back with you. Miami getting set to take on Eastern Michigan here as the RedHawks look to win back-to-back games. Miami off a resounding 38-point win over the Ohio Bobcats. It was the largest margin of victory in the 102-game history between the RedHawks and the Bobcats on Saturday, which began a doubleheader sweep for the RedHawks over the Ohio Bobcats on Saturday. Today, Bryan, though, RedHawks will be a little bit shorthanded as we saw some early playing time in that last game for the RedHawks for freshman Emily Bratton, and just when it seemed like she started to be hitting her stride, she got banged up, got injured under the basket, had to go to the hospital as that game concluded. Was back here inside Millett Hall at the conclusion of the game, and it looks like it won't be anything super long-term. However, she is not dressed here tonight. And in addition, Ilse DeFries, another promising freshman, out with illness. So for a RedHawk team that felt really good about the way they played on Saturday, as great as that is, and as rough of a season as your opponent has had, the bench is going to be a little shorter tonight. Yeah, it sure is, and it's going to be a tough matchup down low going up against CC Aleko for Eastern Michigan. The only player in the MAC so far, Luke, that is averaging a double-double, averaging just over 19 points per game and just over 10 rebounds per game. So it's really going to be a battle down low in the paint, and with the RedHawks a little short-handed down low with DeFries out, it could be a bit of a challenge. CC Aleko, one of 5 players that head coach Suhar Nusebe brought over from Canisius in her first year with the Eagles after coming over from that Golden Griffins program. Her last assistant coaching job was here at Miami. She was on staff until 2021 when she took that job up in Buffalo, New York with the Canisius Golden Griffins. Spent 3 years there at a winning season, her final year there, and is now coaching with the Eagles. Starting lineups for each of these teams. For the RedHawks, again, no Ilse DeFries, so that shakes things up a little bit for this RedHawks team. Maya Chandler, Angelina Gonzalez, Tamar Singer, Amber Treader, the normal 4 you're used to seeing, and Katie Richardson slots into the starting lineup for Miami here tonight. making her first start of her senior season in the place, again, of DeFries, who is unavailable tonight due to illness. For Eastern Michigan, and head coach Sahar Nasebe, Olivia Westfall, Olivia Smith, Brooklyn Thrash, Zanaya Nelson, Elena Cabello, and Cece Aleko are the starting five for the Eagles. Again, Aleko, the player to watch in terms of scoring for Eastern Michigan, enters the night second in the MAC in points per game at just over 19. Interestingly enough, this Eastern Michigan team might be a little shorthanded as well, as Mackenzie Amalia, who did not play in the Eagles' last game against Toledo, not in the starting lineup here tonight, and she's the NCAA leader in minutes.
Yep.
Averaging over 38 a game. Again, one of the transfers that came in from Canisius, averaging just over 10 points per game, did not play in a lopsided 25-point loss against Toledo on Saturday. And again, not in the starting lineup here tonight. Crowd beginning to file in on National Women and Girls in Sports Day. A lot of young girls in the crowd here. And the RedHawk women hoping to put on a show for them tonight en route to their second straight win. Glenn Box breaks the huddle. Miami's got the home whites on. Script Red Miami across the front. Red Miami on the front and back. And Eastern Michigan with the black uniforms, green Eastern block text on the front, and the white numbers on the front and back. Brad Maxey, Trey Miles, Britt White are our officials this evening. Miami and Eastern Michigan meeting for the first time here this season. They'll meet again in Ypsilanti 3 weeks from tonight on February 26th. Britt White puts the ball up in the air. Tip-off is won back by Cece Aleko, and we are underway here from Millett Hall. Taking it from right to left, the Eagles moving into the front court. Eastern Michigan sitting near the bottom of the conference, averaging 60 a game. That's 10th of 12 teams in the Mid-American Conference. They have struggled on this end of the floor. 12 left to shoot. It's Aleko. Back up top is Smith. Curls around the screen. Headed down the left alley. Triple teamed. Flings it back out for Aleko. Down the center of the paint with 4. Floats it up with 3. It's off the mark. But as the RedHawks fought for the rebound, Amber Treader tried to jump out of bounds to save it. And she stepped on the baseline. So Eastern Michigan will get a second chance on this possession 32 seconds in.
And Treader's going to have to do really well rebounding today, averaging just under 8, 5th in the MAC in that stat.
Inbound inserted to Aleko, third in the MAC in field goal percentage. She'll kick out, though, to an in-rhythm 3 from Brooklyn Thrash. Another one of those Canisius transfers who's over 30% from deep, and this Eastern Michigan team shoots the ball as much as anybody else in the MAC from beyond the arc. To the far corner, Miami puts up a 3, courtesy of Meyer Chandler, and that flies off the back iron long. And as they run it up the floor, though, Eastern Michigan will travel as Olivia Smith looked like shuffle their feet a bit, and the RedHawks will get possession back.
Yeah, it just looked like Smith wasn't quite ready to get the ball in her hand, shuffled the feet a little bit as soon as she caught it. I think for Miami today, it's really got to be the Chandler and Angelina Gonzalez show. Those two combined for 40 points last game.
RedHawks went for a look underneath, and it was Gonzalez that missed the jumper, and the rebound picked up by Smith. Bringing it up the floor, kick out to another 3, and it's rattled through by Cabello.
This is a team that really shoots the 3 ball often, as you mentioned, Luke. When we saw them in warm-ups, it seemed like those were the majority of the shots that they were shooting. In fact, 45% of their field goal attempts have been from the 3-point line.
Heavy up and under from Chandler goes way long, but Treader got lost on the backside, and she puts it back for 2. And the RedHawks are on the board. Millett Hall crowd sinks into their seats. 6-2 Eastern. A minute 45 into the first half, and bringing it up the floor, Olivia Smith draws a reach-in foul against Tamar Singer. Glenn Bach's not a fan. And so the ball will be brought back up the floor by Olivia Smith on the best stretch of her season so far, averaging 15 a game over her last 2. Slashes inside, Smith carved to the traffic, and she got stuffed, ripped away by Chandler on her way up. Chandler runs the floor, finds Treader, right elbow jumper. Just squishes long of the bucket, and the rebound picked up by the Eagles.
Well, getting it done on the defensive end is how Miami's going to have to jumpstart this offense. We saw it time and time again in the Ohio game. Going to have to do it again here.
Making her way inside, Aleko draws the foul and flips it in. And Miami is getting pushed on their heels a little bit to begin this game. 7:41 to go first half, and it's 8-2 Eastern Michigan. And Aleko, who's 73% for the stripe this year, heads to the free throw line.
It's a really good take there from Aleko, and then a nice spin move right under the basket to get the foul and the lay-in.
One shot here for Eastern Michigan, 9th in the MAC, under 70% from the stripe. That circles the iron and drops through for Aleko, and it's 9-2 Eastern with 7:37 to go in the first quarter. Singer brings it into the front court for Miami. The Israeli freshman dribbles at the left hand, finds Treader open, left wing three. Line drives over the front rim, pops to the back side, and the rebound in the hands of Brooklyn Thrash, the Ohio native for Eastern Michigan. Eagles pushing the floor. Aleko thought about the mid-range jumper, pulled back down, is deflected away to the far side though, and Aleko got the last touch. It'll be Miami basketball here, down 7 with 7 and change to go in the first quarter.
That was a really good job defending by Amber Treader. They're able to get the ball out of Aleko's hands and force a turnover.
Gonzalez tried a three, then went to the floor looking for the foul. She did not get the bucket or the call, and so Eastern Michigan takes it the other way. Smith all the way to the inside. Might have got tipped on the way up by Treader. That shot ends up nowhere close, and now Gonzalez runs the full length of the floor and puts it in off the window.
Luke, that's what she does best. These coast-to-coast drives from Gonzalez can really jumpstart this Miami offense. A really good job once again by Gonzalez.
6:38 to go first quarter. Eastern Michigan 9, Miami 4. Aleko from the top of the key. Feeds near wing Smith. Sidestepping inside the arc. Back out. It is Aleko bringing it into the paint, and she got it torn away. She went up for the shot. Gonzalez ahead, a good find for Singer. Threads it through traffic to Treader. First shot and a tap back won't go. Eastern with the rebound. Long pass ahead, and Aleko's left alone under the basket to lay it in.
Just got to capitalize on those opportunities if you're the RedHawks. It was an open look for Treader. Didn't go. Forces an easy transition bucket for the Eagles.
11-4 Eastern Michigan, and Singer, as soon as she got to the paint, had it batted out of her hands, and Eastern Michigan will take it back into the front court. Brooklyn Thrash hands off for Olivia Smith and waits for the play call from her bench. From the top of the MAC logo, Olivia Westphal ducking underneath of Chandler, and that shot thrown off the underside of the backboard. Rebound to Gonzalez, coast to coast again, finds Treader on the right side for an easy look.
Really good pass there for the RedHawks. Another really good look. Just what you need if you're the RedHawk offense.
11-6 Eastern, 5:20 to go first quarter. Pump fake at the top of the arc for Olivia Smith. 2 steps to her right, now dribbling with her left. Spins, right angle extended, toes on the arc, bounces to the nail. Aleko turning her face toward the basket with 8 to shoot. Back outside, deep three, catches no rim from Smith and heads out of bounds. Just glinting off the bottom of the rope there. And it will be Miami possession, and Glenn Box making a couple subs. Camille Jackson, the Illinois transfer, on. Katie Richardson, additionally, back into the game for the RedHawks, as Amber Treader will take a breather, and Corey Lard back onto the bench after a couple minutes on.
It was a really good job last possession by the RedHawk defense, forcing up a bad three-point look for Eastern Michigan. You're going to need to see more of that to give your offense a shot.
Miami down 5 here. We cross the halfway mark of the opening quarter. Singer, left angle extended, steps back, triggers a three. Missed it off left. Richardson got a right arm on the ball but couldn't secure it. It's pulled away, and Cabello will run it up the floor. Again, Eastern will slow down in the front court. They've run a much more set style offense so far. Up to the top of the key it goes Thrash. Spins away from Jackson. Powers down the alley. Threw it up towards the basket, but Again, just barely got over the height of the rim, did not catch any rim or backboard and flies out of bounds. And the RedHawks will have possession coming out of the media timeout. Miami's been punched in the mouth a bit. 4:30 to go, first quarter. Eastern Michigan leads it 11-6. We return to Millett Hall after the break. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Four and a half to go, first quarter. Eastern Michigan in front of Miami, 11-6. Of course, Poley, Bryan, Miller with you. Well, Eastern Michigan 1-19 on the year, but putting up a good fight here on the road to begin the game. And Bryan, doesn't feel like the RedHawks are winning the turnover battle, but they are right now at 4-1. They're just pretty cold from the field, 3 for their first 11.
Yeah, and 0 for 4 from 3. So just trying to get something going if you're the RedHawk offense to try to jumpstart this team.
Miami is on the offensive end coming out of the timeout. Corey Lard bullies her way inside and scores from the left side of the paint. 2 hashes up. Lard puts it in for 2 to get it back to a one-possession game. 11-8 Eastern Michigan. 4:05 remaining first quarter. Stutter step Smith down the right lane. Kick out to the top of the key. Now a high ball over the top. Back to the baseline. Aleko rises through the traffic but can't score from 5 feet out. And Richeson's got the board for the RedHawks. Gonzalez, crossover dribble on the right wing. Back up top, Richeson. Crossways for Chandler on the left side, and she traveled as she tried to drive in. And the RedHawks will commit their second turnover.
Well, it was a good job on the defensive end for the RedHawks, shutting down Aleko there and able to get an opportunity in the offensive end, but just can't afford those types of turnovers.
So Eastern again running out of a set, brought into the front court by Smith, and a foul on Corey Lard. And it will be against our RedHawk, and that'll keep it on this end of the floor as Amber Schroeder is going to be rushed off the Miami bench, and she'll take Camille Jackson's place. So the ball inbounded to Olivia Smith. three launched from the right side and knocked down. It's Smith with another three for Eastern Michigan, their third make from deep, and they lead it by 6.
Very hot start for the Eagles from the three-point line. Wasn't really a strength of theirs coming into tonight's game, shooting just under 30%, but doing very well tonight.
And Corey Lard throws it off the foot there of one of the Eagles that was up Gardner. Looked like that was Jada Williams. It'll keep it on the RedHawks end of the floor. Yeah, Eastern is in a spot you don't want to be in, which they sit near the top of the conference in three-point attempts, but near the bottom in three-point percentage, and that's been a big part of why they've struggled, but they've been hitting them so far today. Gonzalez pull up from the left elbow, too strong off back iron, and Westfall taps the rebound to herself. And as she tried to pass it up the floor, it was tipped out of bounds by Miami's Corey Lard. Eastern Michigan will keep it, and inbound in front of the near courtside seats. 2:56 remaining first quarter. It's 14-8 Eastern Michigan. Smith crossover on her dribble, crosses the timeline, heads all the way in. Full head of steam down the left lane and rattles it off the glass and in.
Just can't allow Smith to go downhill like that. Really an uncontested look all the way to the basket.
Singer finds Treader. Three from the right side of the key off the front rim and no good, and a foul on the rebound against Tamar Singer, who's got her hands up in the air, but she'll commit her second personal, and that'll force her off the floor for now.
It's just not been a good start for the RedHawks on defense. Now 4 fouls on the day, while Eastern Michigan so far doesn't have any. So just not a good start for them defensively.
Under 2.5 to go, first quarter. The Eagles lead at 16-8. And they'll be in the bonus with the next foul. Jada Williams, the St. Peter's transfer. Hands off, sets the screen up top for Smith, zigzagging across the paint. She lobbed it high off the rim, no good. Corey Lard heading forward for the RedHawks from left to right. She'll stop at the baseline and pull it back out. Lard dribbling up to the logo. Let her high with her left hand around the arc to the far wing. Gonzalez tours around the paint. Near side, Chandler, bullet pass, Treader driving straight down the middle of the floor. She gets fouled at the bottom of the MAC logo, and Amber Treader will go to the free throw line as Jada Williams commits her first.
First foul today on Eastern Michigan. I think that's a style you're going to have to play if you're Miami. A lot more aggressive, driving to the hoop as Treader just did there, at least able to get to the line.
Treader hits the first free throw. Maya Chandler's come off the floor, Nuria Herho on, and Glenn Box, again, working with a shorter bench today as Treader nails the second free throw. There are now just 2 players dressed for Miami that have not seen playing time yet, those being Claire Chambers and Lucretia Edwards. Ball is rolled up the floor, interestingly, by Cece Aleko. Scooped up by Olivia Smith, who will pound it on the deck and head across the timeline. Minute 39 to go, first quarter, 16-10, the Eastern lead. Stutter step, Chelsea Bishop. Accelerates to the far side, feeds into a 3 by Smith, and that was too strong. And Katie Richardson got fouled by Williams, who got handsy on the rebound attempt.
So the type of stops that you need if you're Miami. You've seen them been able to do that spots so far in this quarter, but just building that consistency has to be key in this last minute and a half.
Williams will have to go off after her second foul. RedHawks back into the front court, trailing by 6. They have not led in this first quarter. Gonzalez steps in, now back out in the corner with 15 to shoot. Post entry bounce pass for Treader. Back Gonzalez, cuts across to the nail and knocks down the free throw line jumper.
She's had a few looks like that today, but they just haven't been able to go in. But nice drive that time and nice pull up to get the bucket.
16-12 with under a minute to play in the first quarter. Eastern back to the front court. Smith gets a bubble of space off Herho. Won't elect to take. Instead, she plays catch with Bishop. Now lofts it high in the post for Aleko. Step back elbow jumper. Had too much on it. Long rebound to Lard. 3-on-2 ahead for Miami. Nuria wants it. She gets it. Left wing 3. Rattles off. Richardson with the offensive board. Can't get the putback. Treader leans in with another try. That won't fall on another offensive board. Finally, it's Katie Richardson collecting 2 points for the RedHawks.
Just what you needed there for Miami. Get a couple offensive rebounds. Eventually it goes in. Seems like a big make there for the RedHawks.
Back down to a 2-point game with the shot clock off. 16-14, Eastern Michigan lead. 11 seconds to go. Thrash to Smith on the far side. 5 seconds to go. 3 hoisted up and too long for Aleko. Herho can't get the heave off at the buzzer. She almost hit it, but it was about a half second late from just beyond half court. And the first quarter will come to an end. Well, about 9 minutes of that were not the type of basketball Miami wanted to play, but they closed things out pretty well. And the RedHawks head into the huddle after 10 minutes, trailing by just 2 points, 16-14 to Eastern Michigan here in Oxford. We return after this. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Ten minutes gone here from Oxford. It's Eastern Michigan 16 and Miami 14. Alongside Bryan Miller, Luke West Poley with you. And Bryan, Eastern came in a hungry team. They have not won a game in the MAC yet at 0-10. They have just one win this year against a team that beat the RedHawks actually in the Xavier Musketeers, but punched Miami in the mouth. Fortunately, the RedHawks had an answer, albeit very late in that first quarter.
Yeah, I think the last minute and a half of the first quarter, the RedHawks started to drive it inside, and I think they had more success doing that and getting to the free throw line. Very uncharacteristic start from the three-point line for both of these squads. Miami's still looking for their first three, while Eastern Michigan has been very well from the three-point lands.
Miami's 0 for 6. RedHawks, they'll get an offensive board, which they've had a lot of those now in this game so far. Amber Treader's already got 3 of them. She collected that last one after the Corey Lard miss, and now Gonzalez will try a mid-range jumper. That rolls off. Richardson tries to tie up, and she'll get called for a foul as Brooklyn Thrash swung her to the ground. I don't think Glenn Box was super happy with the aftermath of that play, but Richardson will pick up her second foul. And Camille Jackson will have to come back onto the floor to take her spot. And again, for the RedHawks, no Ilse de Vries tonight, who's out with illness. So that means it'll be likely Richardson, Treader, and Jackson rotating the roles up front for the RedHawks. For now, Eastern takes it back into the front court. Lead preserved for the moment. Olivia Smith right of the key. Gives to the baseline where Lewis drives and rainbows it outside into a Westfall three that finishes off the back rim. Gonzalez, overhead pass ahead, and a bump shot from 5 feet out by Jackson. She gets fouled. She won't score, but she'll go to the free throw line with a chance to tie the game. 1 minute and 1 second in to the second quarter.
That was a really good pass there from Gonzalez to find Jackson down low. That was a really, really tight window to see. A lot of traffic in her way, but a really good pass there from Gonzalez to get Jackson to the free throw line.
Jackson does hit the first free throw. Appearing in her 18th game, all off the bench for the RedHawks this year. Only averaging about 4 games. She had that 27-point explosion against Hiram, but it's been used sparingly outside of that. She misses the second free throw. RedHawks made a bid at the rebound, but Eastern Michigan comes up with it. Smith flings it ahead, has it back on the right wing, and I think a shot clock issue maybe as we got play stopped. And the officials will head over to the scorer's table. So 8:53 to go in the second quarter. Right now the shot clock's at 24, which seems right, if not close, at least to what it should be. But we'll see. Official on the far side stopped play. And they're not going to the monitor here either, which is pretty interesting because that you'd figure if they were checking the clock, they'd just give it a quick look and reset it. But again, 24 seconds just based off kind of my internal clock seems about right. They're actually going to bring it down to 21. And again, didn't look at the monitor for that, so I guess the official was staring at the shot clock and saw it freeze for a few seconds. So Eastern Michigan inbounds, and they get play going almost immediately after that. Smith rounds the paint at the far elbow. She'll give off for Lewis. Now around the arc to the near wing. Thrash tried to drive in, and she traveled. And the RedHawks will get the ball back with a chance to take their first lead.
RedHawk defense doing a really good job down low, preventing Aleko from touching the basketball. Seems like they had Treader and Gonzalez right next to her at all times there, prevent her from getting a look.
16-15 Eastern, 8:24 to go in the half. Lard finds Herho, near angle. Herho looking for an option. She'll bounce it 5 feet to her right for Treader. Round the arc to the far side. Gonzalez dribbles to the free throw line. Can't hit the jumper. Long rebound out in front of Sahar Nasebe on the Eastern bench. And Brooklyn Thrash picks it up for the Eagles. Taking it from right to left. Fake shot by Aleko from the top of the key. Drives her way in. A pass 2 feet to her left. And Lewis got knocked down, and the RedHawks take it. Miami moving quickly up the floor. Gonzalez stops it. She'll work to the free throw line. Jump past Treader. Pivoting. Jumper from the bottom of the MAC logo. Scoots off right. And the rebound picked up by Eastern Michigan. Olivia Smith, though, had it poked away by Nuria Herho. She crossed the timeline, and Herho will run the floor and lay it in to give Miami their first lead of the game with 7:32 to go in the second quarter. It's 17-16 RedHawks.
Really good few defensive possessions there from Herho. Got the steal on the Aleko drive a couple possessions before, and then getting the steal that time to give Miami their first lead.
Westfall. Short pass for Lewis. She'll insert into the paint for Aleko, swirling around in the paint. She shuffled her feet again and traveled, and that's an 8th Eastern Michigan turnover as the Eagles are really starting to rack them up. Maya Chandler comes back onto the floor, and the RedHawks have possession.
This is the RedHawk defense that we've really gotten used to seeing throughout this whole year so far, Luke. Just really doing a really good job of forcing these turnovers and getting it back to their offense.
17-16, the Miami lead. Just over 3 minutes gone by. Treader with a nice give and go between her and Herho, but Herho couldn't finish it. RedHawks get a steal, though, off the rebound, and Lard runs it to the basket for two.
Good job by Lard there, not giving up on the play, getting the ball when you have to, getting another easy layup for Miami.
Miami has really caught Eastern napping a couple of times, bringing the ball up the floor before they could get to the timeline. Eagles now have 9 turnovers. RedHawks nearly got another one as Lard gambled for one, but couldn't jump in the path before Smith. Smith will now take it down the right side of the paint, and she misses the layup. Rebound off the right side of the basket for Maya Chandler for Miami. Shake and bake to the bucket. Chandler tosses it long off the layup attempt, and it's out of bounds and back to Eastern Michigan. Really good shot creation there from Maya Chandler. She just couldn't finish it. And again, similarly to that Ohio game on Saturday for the RedHawks, in that game it was turnovers. In this game, it's just kind of leaving some points on the board by missing some simple looks. You're winning if you're Miami right now, but maybe it feels like you could be winning by more if you just clean some stuff up.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. Defense done a really good job getting turnovers, but shooting under 30% right now and some of those easy looks that you mentioned.
Scramble for the basketball after a shot miss by Aleko, and the RedHawks get to it. Herho up ahead, finds Richardson, swung to the far wing for Jackson. Now Chandler fakes the shot, dribbling inside, kick out Lard on the right wing. Back for Chandler, tosses up a three and buries it for Miami's first make on their 7th try from deep. Maya Chandler is on the board off the assist from Corey Lard, and the RedHawks lead it by 6 with 5:25 to go in the half.
That's exactly what Miami needed there. Try to spray this game open. Chandler 3 threes last game against OU. Gets the first one started here tonight.
Westfall misfires on a left wing three. RedHawks have the rebound, and Lard spins it to the near wing for Chandler. Chandler back for Lard on the far side. She'll try her hand at a three, and that misses off the back rim. Rebound picked up next to the baseline, and Thrash did well to get rid of it before she fell out of bounds. Eastern back up the floor. Aleko shouldering into the paint. She's double teamed. Aleko swarmed and fouled as she just ripped the ball through the arms of a couple of RedHawks that were outstretched. Glenn Box does not like the call at all, but I believe that might be the third on Richardson. They're going to get Herho instead, who was the other member of the double team, and that's very fortunate for Miami, as, again, that would have been Richardson's third foul.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was going to be called on her going over her back, but guess not. It's very fortunate for Miami.
So that'll send us to the under 5 timeout here. 4:52 to go in the second quarter. RedHawks out to their first lead of the game. It's 22-16 at the moment with Miami in the driver's seat. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. 4:52 remaining second quarter. It's Miami 22, Eastern Michigan 16. Luke West, Poley, Bryan, Miller with you. So we're inside the final 5 of the opening half. Eastern Michigan led for the majority of the half so far, but Miami took their first lead a couple minutes ago and now lead it by 6. Eastern Michigan with it on the offensive end. 20 left on the shot clock as the inbound put in by Olivia Smith from the first M in Miami. Gets it back out near midcourt. Stops her feet just under the three-point arc near the top of the key. Dishes off for Thrash, who drove down the right side, couldn't finish, but the putback drops through for Jada Williams after the offensive rebound. Back down to a 4-point Miami lead now with 4:27 to go in the second. And it's Corey Lard running the point up top for the RedHawks.
Miami's done a pretty good job lately before that possession of not allowing Eastern Michigan to have any second chance points, any offensive rebounds, but did not happen that last possession.
4 left to shoot. Gonzalez steps back and triggers a deep 3 that misses off the left rim. Rebound to Eastern Michigan. Smith scurrying ahead. Plays catch with Westfall, has it back and traveled as she crossed the 3-point arc. And the RedHawks will have it back.
This wasn't a good offensive possession there for Miami last time out. I think they've done a much better in this game so far when they've tried to attack the rim and trying to really emphasize the points in the paint. They have that advantage, 14-8 over Eastern Michigan so far. I would keep trying to go down low, try to emphasize the post game.
And the RedHawks target there, and Amber Treader gets fouled as Williams comes flying in, and for Williams, that should be her third, and it indeed is, and she's coming off the floor.
Yeah, that should be a big one. I mean, that Williams has been one of the biggest post presence so far for Eastern Michigan, so even further emphasizes my earlier point.
Camille Jackson made her way inside and got tied up on the near block, and so Eastern Michigan with the arrow will take possession back. Little odd when you look at the stat sheet right now. Miami and Eastern both around 30% from the field, pretty even on the glass, and Eastern Michigan out turning Miami over, I should say. Eastern Michigan's got 10 turnovers, Miami's got 3, but just a 4-point lead for the RedHawks despite all those extra possessions. RedHawks tear it away off the drive by Chelsea Bishop. She lost it, Herho up the floor, and she traveled. And another travel call. It's felt like we've had a lot of those here tonight on both sides.
Yeah, it just felt like a missed opportunity there for Herho. That would have been big if you count that with the foul, really expand this game for the RedHawks.
So from the near wing, it's Bishop. Lobs it into the post, and it's off the hands of Aleko and into the hands of Herho. Herho ahead, Chandler pulls from the third hash and knocks it down. Maya Chandler with the mid-range jumper. She's got a couple baskets in the first half, and the lead's back to 6 for Miami, 24-18 with under 3 minutes to play.
And Herho, again, another defensive stop. Done a really, really good job today forcing steals for Miami.
It's one of Miami's better defenders, really good interior defender as a guard. Bishop, meanwhile, steps back into a 3 and swishes it.
The Eagles really, really needed that one. They only had 2 points over the past 9 minutes or so. I mean, that's big to just get something going there.
Puts the lead back down to 1 possession, 24-21. Wraparound pass to the far baseline. Large shoulders inside, left her defender on the ground, but couldn't score it. She puts Smith down on the deck and couldn't put it through from 5 feet out. Bishop, bullet up top for Smith. Gonzalez picks her pocket. Gonzalez running ahead down the right side, gets stuffed away. It heads out of bounds, though, off Eastern Michigan. As we've just seen that basketball shooters have had a tough time getting it over their waist in the paint, it seems like today. Both teams have had active hands under their own baskets.
Yeah, I think both teams have done a really good job of doing what you just said there, Luke, guarding the paint and preventing any really easy layups.
Catch and shoot off the inbound, and Chandler buries it.
Seems like that mid-range shot for Chandler has been money today, 7 points so far.
Aleko tries the three, and that rattles off the iron. Herho bounces down the right wing for Corey Lard, who will bounce back for a deep three by Chandler, and she'll scrape the front iron on it. Rebound by Eastern Michigan, and Smith from right to left. Minute 24 to go in the half, 26-21, the Red Hawk advantage. Long pass swung to the near side, intended for Thrash, and Corey Lard went up and got it with the right hand. Lard inside Treader all alone, and she finger rolls it through from the left side.
Yeah, just a bad pass there from Olivia Smith, a cross-court pass that really didn't have any shot. Corey Lard able to capitalize on it and finding a very wide open Treader.
7-point lead, the largest of the game for Miami. 53 seconds left to go. Capaldi races down the right side, took a tumble down on the ground, and a timeout is called from the Eastern Michigan bench, and Sahar Nasebe before they could lose possession. And that's their first timeout, 30-second timeout called with 47.8 seconds to go in the half. 9 left on the shot clock. So would imagine here that Eastern is going to get something off the inbound and then one more possession for Miami, though. If you wanted to run the 2-for-1, you could, but you're probably in a situation where you're better off just running a set and taking your time to make sure you at least get points before half.
Yeah, that's just not really the style that they play. They don't go like overly fast. I wouldn't expect a 2-for-1 opportunity unless you get a turnover here and an easy layup, something like that. Interested to see where Eastern Michigan goes on this possession. Aleko has been kind of cold lately.
They'll inbound to Smith on the far side, bouncing into the post for Aleko. Double comes, she kicks it out on a three, knocked down by Thrash.
Aleko just such a presence inside, forces a wide open Thrash and a wide open three there for EMU.
Shot clock and game clock separated by about 8 seconds. Gonzalez has it on the right wing with 15 to shoot. Now it's Lard. Right elbow extended. Around the arc, it's Chandler on the left wing. 8 on the timer. Chandler around a screen. Overhead pass finds Herho. Cutting to the far baseline with 3 to go, and she's fouled. The Eastern bench erupts as they thought that was a clean block on Herho. But she had black jerseys surrounding her on the paint's edge, and getting a foul was probably the only way. Herho had a chance at points there, and she drew one. Foul will go against Capaldi, and Herho will bury the first free throw.
Herho really getting it done on both ends of the floor for Miami. A good take there. I mean, based on the way I saw it, Luke, I thought that was a clean block from Capaldi, but you'll definitely take that if you're Herho and the Miami RedHawks get 2 more points on the board.
Yeah, she hits both free throws. And like you said, got to look at the replay. Not a ton of contact, and again, Herho would have had a tough time there, undersized, surrounded by forwards to even get a shot up if she didn't get fouled. Running up the floor, meanwhile, Herho's going to commit a foul on Smith with 8 seconds to go, and that's a tough foul to take there if you're Miami. Eastern's going to inbound it back now with 5 left to go. To the top of the key, Westfall gets swatted by Treader on the 3 try, and that'll end the half. A little bit of a lower event half. These teams have played a slower style. This game currently projected to finish in the 50s and 60s, and that's where we're at after 20 minutes. Miami leads by a half dozen. RedHawks 30, Eagles 24 at halftime here from Oxford. And Bryan, not a great start from this Miami team. They answered at least to get Eastern to arm's length, but you end up plus 10 at halftime in the turnover battle. You need to be up more than 6 points.
Yeah, you probably should. It's just been missed opportunities on the offensive end. 1 for 10 from 3, and I mean, plenty of opportunities. 35 field goal attempts today, but only 12 makes. They're about even field goal percentage-wise, and especially some of those looks inside of the paint, those bunny type of shots, those things have to go in if you're Miami. If you're able to get those in the second half, should be a comfortable victory, but long way to go. You got to get it done.
RedHawks were just 1 of 10 from 3, 34% from the field. And again, on the glass, pretty even. Eastern Michigan 21 rebounds to Miami's 20. And RedHawks up by 6 at the half. Work to be done for both teams in the final 20 minutes. Bryan and I will step aside. We'll take a break. When we come back, Andrew Relvas has your Red Hawk Radio halftime report on the other side. 30-24, Miami leads it after 20, and you're listening to Miami basketball on Red Hawk Radio.
Welcome into the Red Hawk Radio halftime show. My name is Andrew Relvas, breaking down the entire first half for you here in Millett Hall. Really kind of quick first half that saw only 12 fouls being committed, but it felt like a lot less just overall. A very clean first half, and Miami leads after 30-24 in a very strong first half effort after falling short by a little bit in that first 10 frames. But how did we get here for Miami? Well, first quarter, the RedHawks trailed 16-14, but since then, Miami has outscored Eastern Michigan 16-8. That saw the RedHawks defensively in the second limit the Eagles to 3 for 10 shooting and 2 for 6 from deep. And they really made life tough, especially defensively, forcing 14 first half turnovers. A really good job defensively, and they have really been stingy against this visiting EMU team. Meanwhile, for Miami, only turning it over 4 times, and they played really well so far in the first frame. In terms of scoring leaders, the RedHawks' Amber Treader leads that charge. 8 points on 3 for 9 shooting, 0 for 2 from deep, 2 for 2 from the charity stripe. 5 boards, 1 steal, and a couple of blocks. Just a really good 17 minutes for Amber Treader. Turning things over, another top scorer, Maya Chandler, 7 points for her, 3 for 7 from the floor, along with a rebound and 2 steals. One player that's been a little bit off to a slow start, it's been Angelina Gonzalez, 4 points for her, 2 for 8 from the floor, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Gonzalez, of course, I mean, she's not off to the hottest start, but the RedHawks still leading by a good amount. They're playing with some real defensive tenacity here at Millett Hall, just trying to make life tough here for the visiting Eastern Michigan Eagles. Turning it over to the Eagles, their top scorer is Brooklyn Thrash, 6 points for her, 2 for 4 from the floor, a pair of 3-pointers, along with 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. Thrash has been that player in the first half for the Eagles. The junior from Wayne, Ohio. Of course, the Canisius transfer, sinking a couple of 3-pointers. CC Aleko, player to watch that we talked about coming in. This is the number 2 scorer in the MAC, averaging a double-double coming into today's action. Up to 5 points and 6 rebounds, shooting 2 for 8. So if there was a player to limit offensively, it was Aleko. Only 5 first half points. I mean, you'll take that if you're a RedHawks fan. Just really good numbers against these Eastern Michigan Eagles on the defensive end. For EMU, shooting 35% after 20, 42% from deep. They're 5 for 12, and they've made 1 free throw from Aleko. 1 for 1. Meanwhile, for Miami, 34% from the floor, 1 for 10 from deep. Got to be better if you're the RedHawks, and 5 for 6 from the free throw line. That was the first half breakdown here on Red Hawk Radio. I'll turn it over to the top 25 scoreboard. I think I talked previously, a big top 25 pair of matchups across the scoreboard. Our first one at the half break, West Virginia leading 39-19 over Kansas. The Mountaineers up by 20, looking to carry that momentum into the second half. We'll see what happens in that one in a little bit. Over at the Big Ten. USC leading Wisconsin on the road 17-9. Juju Watkins taking care of business after essentially the first quarter, up by 8 in Madison. 41 seconds left to go in the first. Kansas State Wildcats trying to get nice Big 12 win in Manhattan, Kansas. And the final game, of course, Ohio State at UCLA, the game of the night to watch in the Big Ten. Turning it over to the Mid-American Conference, a full slate of MACtion games here. One game that went final, Toledo over Buffalo 58-55, a battle of teams that are right on the upper echelon of the conference. A 3-point win for the Rockets on the road at Buffalo. That's a big-time win, taking down Chella Watson and company for Buffalo, which Miami will see in a little bit. Kent State trailing by 15 at the half versus NIU. That is a big one to watch because NIU, right now, they're fighting for a MAC tournament bid, and meanwhile, Kent State 8-2 in the MAC. So if NIU can pull this one off up by 15, this would be a major upset in the conference. We'll keep an eye on that one. Kent State, of course, 15-7. They're right there with the Buffaloes and the Toledos of the conference, but trailing by 15 on the road. Potential upset brewing in DeKalb, Illinois. Bowling Green at Ball State. The Bowling Green Falcons trailing by 15 as the end of the third quarter is coming up. 1:10 left to go. Bowling Green trailing by 15, 51-36 in Muncie. Cardinals all over these Falcons. Ball State looking like they will improve to 11-0 in the Mid-American Conference. Nearing the third quarter in another one, Central Michigan ahead by now 37 points over Ohio in Mount Pleasant. It's Central Michigan 71 and Ohio 34. That was a team where the RedHawks nearly won by 40 over the weekend, and Central Michigan getting close to that mark, up 71-34 with 51 seconds left to go. Final game in the fourth quarter, about to conclude. Western Michigan over Akron right now. Western Michigan, a 5-5 MAC record, trying to get a big road win against the Akron Zips, 64-59. 52 seconds left to go in that contest. Looking like Western Michigan will get MAC win number 6 on the season so far. That was a scoreboard peek. Nice night of basketball from the top 25 along with the MAC matchups. And with that, we will turn things back here to Millett Hall. Some keys to the second half for your Miami RedHawks. Well, number one, the RedHawks have to be better, especially from deep. Shooting 1 for 10 from the three-point line. Usually that's not going to get it done, but they're up by 6 right now, and the defense has really led the way. Expect a similar next 20 to kind of take place. We saw 14 Eastern Michigan turnovers being forced, so with these shots not falling, especially from deep, the emphasis likely from Glenn Buck's going to be on the defense, trying to force these turnovers and, of course, protecting the basketball. Only 4 turnovers committed by Miami, but offensively, you would like those three-point numbers to be better. 1 for 10, not going to get it done, and we've seen the RedHawks lose those type of games, shooting a lot better, but hasn't really impacted them so far yet. Number 2, keep the pressure on Cece Aleko. We saw her kind of struggle in the first half. 7 turnovers forced by Miami on Aleko. Love that pressure if you're a Miami fan, and expect that similar type of tenacity against Aleko to continue. Here in Millett Hall, 7 turnovers for her. Olivia Smith, another top contributor, 6 turnovers for her. So between Aleko and Smith, 13 combined turnovers in basically full first half. Those are really good numbers if you're Miami. Just really frustrating these top scorers. And it's going to have to continue here in Millett if Miami wants to win their 6th MAC game of the year. And number 3, Got to keep the boards going, trailing the rebounding battle by 1, 21-20. Amber Treader has 5 rebounds, Roshawson has 6. I mean, the fact that they're trailing the rebounding battle and being down a big, and Ilse de Vries, who was out of the lineup with an illness, the fact that it's only a 1 rebound difference is kind of surprising, but in a good way for Miami. That metric has certainly helped them out so far in this one. Got to control the pace and got to keep the home cooking here in Millett Hall, up by 6 and trying to keep the hot shooting after that second quarter where the RedHawks outscored the Eagles 16-8. Going to be a big third quarter that will likely define how this one is going to end. And we'll see if the RedHawks can roll to another victory, trying to get back-to-back victories in conference play for the second time this year. That's going to do it for me. I will be here at postgame breaking down everything in this one in a crucial MAC matchup for the RedHawks, trying to keep pace in an always competitive and always entertaining Mid-American Conference. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll catch you at the break. In the meantime, we will step away. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on RedHawk Radio. My name is Andrew Relvas. Stay with us for the play with Luke and Bryan coming up in a few.
A minute away from beginning the second half here from Millett Hall. It's Miami 30 and Eastern Michigan 24 from Oxford. Hope you're staying safe out there. Hope you're staying warm out there. You got a winter weather advisory this evening. Some freezing rain coming through Oxford. And that has affected the crowd a little bit here this evening. A little bit smaller on National Women and Girls in Sports Day, but still making some noise. And Bryan had much more to cheer about in quarter number 2 compared to quarter number 1. But as we mentioned, heading into the break at halftime, Miami with a turnover advantage, 4 giveaways for the RedHawks, 14 for Eastern Michigan. You come out even on the glass. You're shooting almost identical from the field, but just 1 for 10 from 3, and that's a major reason why the RedHawks are not in front by more right now.
Yeah, it really seems like Miami could be up by double digits or even more than that the way they've been playing defensively. They've done a really good job of stopping Aleko, especially in the second quarter. She had 5 points in the first, but no points in the second quarter. RedHawk defense done a really good job stopping her and getting the ball back for their offense, but their offense just hasn't really been able to do anything. And a lot of the misses inside as well as the struggles from the three-point line today. As you mentioned, 1 for 10. Going to have to improve on that in order to expand this lead.
Angelina Gonzalez inbounds to Tamar Singer, and we are underway in the second half. RedHawks in the white uniforms. They go right to left. So here in half number 2. Gonzalez tries the post-entry feed. Treader climbs the ladder to come down with it and rises back up to score it off the glass for 2 points. And Miami's got an 8-point lead now, which is their largest of the game, as Amber Treader's got 10.
And that's somewhere where Miami's really excelled. They had a 10-point advantage in points in the paint, so going down low to start off the second half seems very wise.
Tamar Singer swipes it away as Brooklyn Thrash tried to drive down the right lane, and now Gonzalez fakes, heads inside on the baseline, kicks to the corner, extra pass to Singer on the wing, and she draws enough contact for a foul against Chloe Westphal.
Nice pump fake there from Singer in order to get the foul.
RedHawks committed significantly more fouls in the first half than Eastern Michigan did, as they committed just 4 in the first 2 quarters. Draw an early one here and back to the offensive end. Treader outside the arc, elbow extended with 5 to shoot, heads inside, gets a give and go together with Corey Lard and puts it in for 2 points.
Good give and go there, really good cut there by Treader. Caught the Eagle defense sleeping a little bit, makes it a very, very easy layup.
Bullet pass to the near wing, and Cabello unleashes a 3. That's off the inner side of the rim. And the RedHawks grab the rebound. Gonzalez sliding back and forth, heads baseline, tried the up and under. She got pasted by Westphal. Gets her own miss, though, and puts it back outside. Gonzalez, back turn to the basket, slings for Lard. Back for Gonzalez, straightaway 3 in the air. That's money for Angelina Gonzalez. She's got 7 points now, and the RedHawks lead it by 13, continuing to expand this lead with 8:10 to go in the third quarter.
And Gonzalez never quite got going in the first half as we're used to seeing. Got a lot of open looks, especially in the mid-range, but a good look there from 3 and able to get started in the second half.
Downhill drive for Cabello, and she charges on over Angelina Gonzalez right on the corner of the MAC logo, and the RedHawks force another turnover.
Miami defense picking up right where they left off, forcing a few turnovers from the Eastern Michigan squad, getting it back to their offense. Get another bucket here, really try to stretch this lead out if you're Miami.
Got a chance to really put the hammer down coming out of the break. RedHawks have scored the only 5 points of the half since we've returned to action. Bouncing inside, Treader with her back turn, spins toward the basket, and she got stuffed by Thrash. Handing off for Smith, who will take it from left to right. No look feed up the near wing for Cabello. Out top, it is Thrash. Tried the post entry pass over the top, and that got stripped away from Aleko and out of bounds. It'll stay with Eastern Michigan. 20 on the shot clock, and they'll inbound from the near baseline. 7:27 to go third quarter. 37-24 the RedHawks lead. Katie Richardson will come in to take the place of Amber Treader. 10 points, 5 rebounds, a steal and 2 blocks, I should say, for Treader in the game. And we get a foul on the RedHawks before the ball is even inbounded. And they'll get Richardson, and that'll be her 3rd. So that's not great for the RedHawks, as Richardson, before she can even record a second of playing time in the second half, commits her 3rd foul.
It's going to be something to watch out for the rest of this game.
Catch just inside the arc for Aleko, drives inside and stolen away. Singer, no look pass, finds Richardson in stride down the right alley to lay it in for 2. So crafty, Tamar Singer with another steal and another helper to get the RedHawks up 15 with 7:07 to go. Westfall unloads a three. That rolls off. And on the near side, Gonzalez has got the rebound for Miami. Gonzalez fakes going up with the three-point shot. Three players surrounding her, and it's poked away. Rolling basketball scooped off the deck by Thrash. And across the timeline, Eastern Michigan will slow it down. Up top, Smith accelerates down the right side. Gives it back to the exterior, and Westfall had it tapped away. Chandler down the left side, scores it through the defense from Thrash. Got that left arm extended past the block attempt in transition, and the RedHawks lead by 17, 41-24 with 6:18 to go. And we get a tipped ball out of bounds, it looks like, on the far side. No foul calls. The RedHawks got a deflection. Amber Treader will come back on the floor to take Katie Richeson's spot.
Just like a blink of an eye, my goodness. 6-point game at halftime, now RedHawks up by 17. Seems like the defense has turned it up to another level as far as turning the ball over goes. It's really, really helped out their offense.
RedHawks are plus 25 in terms of scoring over the last 15 minutes. Shot clock under 10, looking to stop the bleeding. Smith to the near wing of Aleko, drives, stops, accelerates into the paint, tossed one up and got fouled. She was at the third hash and just threw a shot directly up in the air, not in the direction of the basket, but Chandler hacked her on the arm, and that will send Cece Aleko, the second leading scorer in the conference, to the free throw line. Aleko has been quieted today, 5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, which by her standards a pretty low mark. Only player in the MAC to be averaging a double-double this year with 19.1 points and 10.3 rebounds. Aleko puts through the first free throw.
So her first points since about the middle of the first quarter. Just really impressed with the way the RedHawk defense has been defending Aleko all game long. Seems like they've been able to have multiple defenders on her throughout the entire game.
Swish is the second. It's a 2-for-2 trip for Aleko. Back down to a 15-point lead for the RedHawks, 41-26. 5:57 remaining in the third. Camille Jackson back onto the floor. Again, seeing a lot more time in this game with the illness to Ilsa DeFries. And also, no Emily Bratton tonight for the RedHawks, who got banged up in the game on Saturday. RedHawks take it across the timeline. It's Treader. Crossways for Chandler on the near wing. Chandler will sling it back up top. And from there, it is to Mara Singer. Singer heads down the left side, kicks out Jackson to the post, and Treader nearly had it torn away. RedHawks, though, pull it from Treader on the ground, and Chandler hits the mid-range jumper.
It's a very heads-up play there from Maya Chandler's being in the right place at the right time, able to get yourself a bucket.
And Chandler having a nice game as she picks up another bucket, up to 9 points, and the RedHawks with a steal. Chandler pulls up from the right elbow and rattles it through. Maya Chandler feeling herself as she's got 11. And the RedHawks in front by 19 with 5:12 to go in the third.
She's been absolute money with that mid-range shot today. Thought when she got it, she could have driven it in for a little bit more of a contested look, but decided to just stop right there, take the open look right in front of her, and drill it.
She'll get a rest on the bench as we approach the media timeout. 5:02 to go in the third quarter. Eastern Michigan desperately needs an answer. They'll turn to Aleko for it. Just underneath the arc, she'll flip it back outside Smith. Face guarded by Lard, and an offensive foul as Lard threw her head back, and Smith pushed off as she headed in. An offensive foul, and the 8th turnover credited to Olivia Smith, accounting for almost half of Eastern Michigan's 19 as a team. And that will send both teams to their huddles as Miami continues to stretch this lead at the media timeout. Eastern Michigan's attempted just one field goal in the first 5 minutes of the third, and they trail by 19, now 45-26 with 4:55 remaining in the quarter. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. 4:55 to go, third quarter, and the RedHawks have been all over Eastern Michigan since the teams came back onto the floor. Miami's outscoring the Eagles 15-2, and Eastern Michigan does not have a field goal yet. They've attempted only one field goal here in the second half. RedHawks will work it from right to left and try and get the game's first 20-point lead. Lucretia Edwards with a three to try and give it to him, and that won't go. And a foul under the basket on the rebound, as I think they'll get Camille Jackson. Nope, they're going to get Amber Treader instead with the personal foul. That is her first, and the third team foul against the RedHawks. And no 20-point lead for now for Miami. It'll stick at 19, still the largest of the night for the RedHawks.
And just going back to the strong starts to the second half, Miami 7 for 9 on field goal attempts and have already forced 5 turnovers so far.
Eastern Michigan's got 19 for the game. The RedHawks, on the contrary, with only 4. Bishop pulls back on a long two. She missed that too far to the left, and Treader's got the rebound for the RedHawks. Treader upstairs. Top of the key, chest pass to the far side, Singer, shake and bake, Singer steps back, crossover dribble inside, kick out Gonzalez, cuts across the screen, free throw line jumper, cashed in. Angelina Gonzalez up to 9 points. And the RedHawks do now lead it by 21, as they've eclipsed the 20-point lead mark for the first time in the game.
And just a really good job by Gonzalez there, using this screen off of Treader to create space for herself and create more room for that jumper.
Top of the key, it is Westfall trying to drive in, plucked at by Singer. Westfall gathers back, fadeaway jumper from 10 feet, falls off the back iron, but it is tipped out of bounds. And who got the last touch? Eastern Michigan did, so Miami will have a chance to take it up the floor. 3:38 remaining in the third, 47-26 the Miami lead, as the RedHawks look to pick up their second straight win. A win here tonight would vault Miami over 500 in the Mid-American Conference. RedHawks, though, give it away off the inbound, and Brooklyn Thrash will take it through the traffic and score.
And it looks like Eastern Michigan bringing a little bit of a press there, try to disrupt this Miami start.
And the RedHawks looked like they had broken it as Gonzalez threaded the needle to Singer, but she couldn't handle the pass, and Miami coughs it up again. Quick in transition, Thrash all alone missed it, got her own rebound and missed a second chance. Now bodies flying everywhere, 5 RedHawks against 1 Eagle up the floor, and Gonzalez will lay it home. Timeout, Glenn Box. That was bizarre. Eastern Michigan crashed the glass with virtually everything they had, and everybody went down to the floor, and Miami rushed up to the offensive end with a 5-on-1 break to the offensive side. And fortunately for the RedHawks, Gonzalez could easily score with the numbers advantage for Miami, and they lead it by 21. Timeout, Glenn Box and the RedHawks with 3:08 to go in the third, in front 49-28.
That was certainly a chaotic sequence there. Could have very easily ended up in a Eastern Michigan make, but instead just ball bounces out, and Miami really able to get a running start there with a couple Eagles falling down. A really easy layup there for Miami.
In other Miami news, Miami Heat just traded Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors. That's big NBA news. Shocking that that's the second biggest NBA news of the last week, but regardless.
They always deliver when it comes to
of course,
trades and all that type of stuff. That was just wild. Just wild on Saturday night.
I think most people will remember where they were when something like that happens.
Yeah, I was chilling on my couch, upset after my Kentucky Wildcats had a bad loss to Arkansas, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, I guess that's not the biggest story of the night anymore.
Nope.
I guess we already forgot about that, huh?
Yes. You know who's not a fan of the NBA, believe it or not? Glenn Box. If you follow him on Twitter, he is an avid critic. He has said the NBA stands for not basketball anymore. That was a recent tweet of his from about a month ago. If you don't follow Coach Box on Twitter, by the way, he's got some bangers on there.
I could definitely see that with the
He's
way
a very,
that his
very passionate guy, and he
with the
speaks
way,
his mind on there.
with the way that his team plays. I could definitely see how he feels that way about the association in today's game. I could definitely see it.
He, like many others, hates the usage of threes so heavily relied on in the modern NBA. His suggestion to get rid of that problem in the modern NBA, this is again one of his tweets, was to limit the number of threes that teams can shoot, which I don't know if I've heard anyone else propose that before.
That'd be interesting.
You kind of got to pick your battles. Yeah, exactly. That was his idea. Is you can shoot threes, you just got to figure out the moments that you want to take them, which is something that I never really thought about before.
That'd bring a new level of strategy into the game, passing up, wide open threes for a contested look.
It would certainly make the NBA look a little bit weirder, but why not try it? Call up Adam Silver. I'm sure Coach Box has him in his phone contacts. Eastern Michigan brings it up the floor. They're now down by 21 points with under 3 to go in the third quarter. Aleko fakes the shot, will head in and kick to the left wing. A three from there by Smith won't go. Rebound tap back to her, and the second try is knocked down.
Much needed there for Smith and Eastern Michigan. Just got to get something going offensively.
And the Eagles will pick up pressure in the full court, but Miami breaks it as Tretter takes it down the left wing and into the front half. Gonzalez now slows it down for Miami. Edwards around to the near wing for Tretter. Skips it to the near block. Lard back out Gonzalez with 10 to shoot. Jabbing Gonzalez, off balance shot. Scrapes off the front rim, but she got fouled just under the left elbow. And Gonzalez will go to the free throw line. Nuria Herho has thrown her warm-up jacket back on, so it doesn't seem like it, but currently Claire Chambers, who's also got the jacket on to her left, is the only Red Hawk that's dressed that hasn't yet played. Gonzalez airs out the first free throw and had too much strength on it. 49-31 Red Hawks, 2:18 to go in the third quarter. Second one up and good. For the Red Hawks, they'll be on the road, as will Eastern Michigan. All the teams in the MAC on the road on Saturday for the back half of the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. For Miami, they'll be down in Lafayette, Louisiana, taking on the Ragin' Cajuns this weekend. Again, Tamar Singer face guarding up top on Smith, and she fouled her, hoping for the steal. She did poke the ball away, but a little too much contact. For Eastern Michigan, they'll be in Atlanta. They will take on Georgia State in their MAC Sunbelt Challenge game. They were awfully close to winning their season opener in the first game of the MAC Sunbelt Challenge against Texas State. Three hauled up by Brooklyn Thrash from the near wing, ended up way beyond the basket, and the Redhawks have the rebound. Gonzalez left alone meanwhile, and her left wing three rattles home. Angelina Gonzalez up to 15 points now to lead all scorers. Slower start for Gonzalez in this game, but she's now passed both Tretter and Chandler in scoring for Miami and leads the team. It's a 22-point Red Hawk lead with under 90 seconds to go in the third.
Good job by Corey Lard there, finding Gonzalez wide open in the corner. Gonzalez shouting her out, giving her a nice point after making it.
Missed three by Westfall, but Tretter crashed into Thrash there and fell down. Couldn't get the rebound, and Thrash will put it back in for two. So it's a 20-point Miami lead. 1:05 to go third quarter, 53-33 to score. Glenn Box swirling his right and left fingers in circles. To the far block, Gonzalez rounds the paint. No-look dish out for Edwards around the arc. Extras all over the place to the far wing. And a drive in and an offensive foul is whistled as Tamar Singer tried to make her way through. Tretter will pick up the foul. That's her second.
Thought Edwards would have had a very open look from the corner as Gonzalez was driving below the hoop. I don't think she was able to see her until about a second too late, but if she was able to, that would have been another wide open three look for the Redhawks. So Katie Richardson on, Tretter off. Again, Richardson
playing with 3 fouls. Tamar Singer's got 3 as well for the RedHawks, who lead by 20 with 40 seconds to go in the third. Westfall lobs it over all the RedHawks into the post, and Elko draws all sorts of attention and a foul as the Miami defense just engulfed her in the center of the paint. And she got fouled with 35.1 seconds left to go.
Honestly, a really good pass there to get it down low to Aleko. And yeah, as you mentioned, every RedHawk surrounded her there.
Aleko, though, leaves the free throw short. She is a good free throw shooter for a forward, native of Montreal, Canada. Somewhat proximate to Canisius, where she started her career with her head coach, but transferring over to play for Eastern and Ypsilanti. She missed both free throws. Lard's got the rebound, Euros into the paint, and gets fouled as Chloe Westfall gets the foul. Olivia Westfall, excuse me, for Eastern Michigan. So Corey Lard will shoot 2, shot clock off, 28.6 seconds left to go. Lard hits the first free throw. Both teams in the bonus.
Credit to Miami tonight. All right, she made it good. 8 for 10 on free throws tonight. Done a pretty good job at the line.
They have and drawn more fouls here in the
Yep.
second half, which was an issue in the first. They only drew 4 across the first 20 minutes. Shot clock dark, Eastern Michigan down 22. Into the front court goes Smith, ball in her hands. Nuria Herho, couple feet from her, now creeping towards her. Fakes the prod as Smith heads forward. Around a screen to the far side with 12. Now it's Chandler on her and a foul inside. It will go against Nuria Herho, who gets her third. So now 3 RedHawks with 3 fouls, and with both teams in the bonus, Eastern Michigan will shoot a couple free throws. So not ideal there, but for Miami, you'll now get a chance for a final possession of the third quarter. And are the officials going to go to the monitor here? It looks like they are. So they were all set and ready to shoot the free throws, and then Eastern Michigan players were called over to their bench by Sahar Nusabe. And
looking at the
now they're
time.
at the monitor. Yeah, it could maybe be looking at time here. So that matters to a certain degree. 11.5 seconds left here for Miami. It's enough time to do a pretty good amount here. This does now at least give the RedHawks a chance to kind of line things up based off whether or not they'll start their final possession off a rebound or an inbound. So not sure what went on there. Nothing was changed, I don't believe, as the officials came back out. So maybe looking at a potential flagrant foul. Westfall's going to shoot the free throws. They announced preemptively that she's about to be checked out of the game if she makes the second free throw, which she buries the first.
First point on the day for Westfall.
She cannot hit the second, and Miami taps it out of bounds on the rebound. So now Westfall is going to exit. And Eastern Michigan again can hold for the final shot. So disappointing break there for the RedHawks under the basket.
Yeah, definitely not what you're looking for if you're Miami, but done a good job shutting down Westfall today. Came into tonight averaging just under 9.5 points, but only 1 so far tonight.
Off the catch, bullying into the paint. Aleko rolled it around the iron, trapped in the corner. Lard gets rid of it. Gonzalez with 1 half-court heave, off the mark. So Glenn Box did not want to call a timeout there with Lard trapped in the corner and time waning. And instead, he'll be content after his team got a defensive stop to go into the final quarter break, leading by 21. 55-34, the score with the RedHawks in front of the Eagles. Big time lead as Carolyn Condit heads onto the floor. Miami volleyball legend honored here tonight. To the fourth we go from Millett. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Fourth quarter on deck here from Millett. All RedHawks in that third as they outscored Eastern Michigan 25-10, and they now lead it 55-34 into the final 10 minutes. Eastern Michigan onto the offensive end, and it's Olivia Smith carving to the basket, but swatted away by Katie Richardson under the hoop, and the RedHawks press it forward. No look pass to the far corner. Chandler cuts it across. She got blocked with a pull-up jumper at the right elbow as Westfall got her hand in there. And a block on each of the team's opening possessions as a force feed inside, and the turnaround off the window for Kendall Lewis gets her on the board.
Really have seen a increased pace and tempo, I would say, the last half of the third quarter and start of this fourth. This press for Eastern Michigan really speeding things up.
Gonzalez, a step behind the right elbow, finds Edwards in the corner. Line drives the three short. Richardson, though, the offensive rebound, can't make the layup, but Singer got another offensive rebound, nearly gave it away, and now Richardson's pass outside gets deflected, and the RedHawks still end up with it. Feels like this possession is destined for Miami to score some points. The amount of breaks they've had off of deflections. 5 left to shoot. Long three won't go for Tamar Singer, as it just barely grazes off the bottom of the netting and out of bounds.
Yeah, I think the pass out, I think it was from Singer. I think it deflected off somebody and somehow ended up in the hands of another RedHawk. Very fortunate break there for Miami.
55-36, the RedHawks lead. 8:33 to go in the fourth. Three for Smith, tossed up. Bounces off the rim, no good, but a foul on the rebound going against the RedHawks and Angelina Gonzalez. Nope, they're going to get Richardson instead, and that's her fourth. So she'll have to leave. And Amber Treader is back onto the floor for Miami.
Treader's going to have to do a good job defending down low with Richardson with 4 fouls. Really the last thing you can afford if you're Miami defensively is accumulating those fouls.
Smith was struggling to get it in, got it off just before the 5-second mark, and then it appeared that Eastern Michigan might get an and one, but Dara Capaldi traveled. Couldn't have taken more than a couple of steps as she caught that ball pretty much right under the basket, but just stopped her feet a little bit, and Eastern Michigan turns it over for the 20th time. Eagles really did calm down the turnovers, believe it or not, to end that third quarter. They got their 19th pretty early, and it's been a while since they last turned it over until that latest sequence. Gonzalez now with a 3. It's online, but bounces off the inside of the rim and out to Brooklyn Thrash for Eastern Michigan. Smith brings it up the floor, drive and kick to the right wing. A 3 from Capaldi is off target. Chandler now slashing across, down the left lane, lifts it up with the left hand, and that rolls off the heel. Rebound to Jada Williams for Eastern Michigan. Teams have hit a bit of a scoring slump here of late. Neither team has scored in over 2 minutes now. Dribbling back out near midcourt. It's Smith. Screen set by Williams. Kick to the far side, and finally a 3 rattles through for Dara Capaldi. That's her first make from deep all year. She was 0 for 3 up until that last one.
Eagles going with the high ball screen there from Jada Williams. Westfall able to get it out to Capaldi, who makes the 3.
10 left on the shot clock. Treader's just been holding it at the top of the key for Miami. Now she'll dribble in hand for Gonzalez, far elbow extended. 4 left on the shot clock. Gonzalez fade away at the MAC logo. In and out. Rebound to Williams. There's been a force inside. 4 boards for her. And Eastern Michigan's got it up the floor. Westfall's 3. That's cashed. And just like that, it's a 13-point game. 55-42 with 6.5 to play.
First 3 on the day for Westfall. Is usually a pretty good 3-point shooter. Came into tonight's game 9th in the MAC in 3-point percentage.
RedHawks thought about moving it quickly. Chandler passed up on a 3, and now the RedHawks just holding it out near midcourt. Singer with 8 to shoot. Left angle. Juts to the basket. And she stepped on the baseline as she tried to feed it back outside. Corey Lillard set to come back in for Miami. She'll take Maya Chandler's place. .606 remaining in the fourth. Eastern Michigan slowly creeping back on a 9-0 run over the last 4 and change. They trail it by 13. Singer with some pressure up front, and Singer gets called for a foul as Smith gallops over the timeline. And that'll be Singer's 4th. So Miami already on a short bench without Bratton and DeFries. Now has 2 players with 4 fouls in Singer and Richardson. And arguably 2 of your better defenders with Singer on the exterior and Richardson on the interior. Singer's going to stay in the game here. And Eastern Michigan inbounds and works in the front court. Westfall circling on the far side, tipped onto the deck by Gonzalez. She picks it up. Gonzalez racing ahead, bolts to the bucket, and gets stuffed on the right block by Thrash. Now a steal, though, coming back up the floor. Lard swipes it away. She'll race to the basket, lays it too strong, but Gonzalez is right there to clean her miss. Timeout by Glenn Box, who does not look happy by the racy style that this game has opened up into. But the RedHawks do get it back to a 15-point lead with 5:28 to go in the fourth quarter, and that'll bring us to a timeout on the floor. 57-42, RedHawks leading Eastern Michigan with 5:28 to go in regulation. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. 5:28 to go in the fourth quarter. It's Miami 57 and Eastern Michigan 42. Glenn Box called the timeout, and now Eastern Michigan will take it from left to right. They've chipped into this Miami lead. 9-2 run over the last 5 minutes. They got it within 20. It's a post-entry find over the top for Williams. Her first attempt won't go, but again, a putback for Williams. And Miami gives up another offensive board. They've allowed 8 of them today, and it's a 13-point ball game again as we cross the halfway mark of the fourth.
Yeah, it just feels like Eastern Michigan just keeps chipping and chipping away at this. If they're able to get a 3 on that earlier possession where Corey Lard got the steal, I mean, you're talking about inside 10 points.
Foul is whistled up top on CC Elko. So, first foul, Aleko's picked up all game. Again, Miami's done a very good job quieting her. Just 7 points in 30 minutes played for the MAC's second leading scorer. Lard backs in, finds Treader. Free throw line jumper is pure for Amber Treader. Stretches the lead back to 15 for the RedHawks with 4.5 to play. Quickly up the floor for Smith. Up top, Aleko, her 3, well short of the rim and out of bounds.
Yeah, Aleko just really slowed down today. Just 7 points, 2 for 10 from the field, 0 for 3 on 3-point attempts. RedHawk defense just done a really, really good job shutting her down.
59-44 Miami, 4:16 to play. Gonzalez finds a cutting Treader. First hash up on the right side. She backs out of the paint, finds Chandler over her head. She makes a blind shot off the window.
That was quite the take there from Maya Chandler, and a really good pass from Treader just to extend this Miami lead. It's a big shot there.
A Baker's dozen for Chandler. Treader's got 2 assists. Forced into the paint, and Capaldi got piled up on. And a held ball is whistled, and the RedHawks will earn possession back. Beg your pardon, it was Capaldi who had the feed, and Williams the one to catch in the paint. She fell down on the floor, and the RedHawks forced the jump ball. Miami with the arrow, and Eastern Michigan will be forced to pick up pressure in the full court. Pass led forward for Maya Chandler, who takes it to the front half for Miami. Glenn Box wants Tamar Singer to take it. He calls her over in front of the bench. Singer around the arc now to the near wing for Gonzalez. Gonzalez bolts in, pulls up from 15, and rattles it through. Angelina Gonzalez lights out from the mid-range all year. She's got 19 in the game. And for Gonzalez, she is really cooking now, up above the season average to lead the RedHawks, who lead by 19 with 3:08 to go. We get a foul that will be called against Chandler as that play was beginning to develop for Eastern Michigan. That's the 3rd foul on the RedHawks, and 2nd dished out to Chandler.
Just going back to what you're saying about Gonzalez, 19 points today, but 7 rebounds as well, tied with Richardson for the lead in rebounds today for Miami. Seems like a quiet 19, to be honest. I feel like there could be a up to 25, just some of those tough misses that she had in the first half, and some of those mid-range shots, and a little closer in as well.
Yeah, it was after what was a pretty slow start for Gonzalez. Fight underneath the rim after a missed shot, and Aleko couldn't win it against 2 RedHawks who pull it away. No-look pass to the far corner. Gonzalez crossover, finds Richardson, and the RedHawks swinging around the arc as Eastern Michigan does well to close out. Doesn't allow Miami to pull up for 3. Singer now takes it straight down the center of the paint, lost it in the air. It falls right to Gonzalez, who throws it off the right side of the rim and gets fouled. And Gonzalez will go to the free throw line.
Gonzalez just saw an opportunity there with the ball in the air, able to get to and get a shot up, able to get to the line. Just really good spatial awareness there from Gonzalez.
Yeah, so Angelina Gonzalez had 4 points in the first quarter and then none in the second. So she went into halftime with just 4 points, and that's why it seemed like a pretty quiet evening for her, even though she's now racked up 15 since and has a chance to make it 20 at the free throw line.
And honestly, a lot of those looks in the first half, they weren't bad looks at all. I mean, they were open and just weren't able to get them down. A lot of in and out type of shots.
Misses the first free throw. 2:35 remaining in this one. Miami can stretch it back to a 20-point lead, and they do with this Angelina Gonzalez make. RedHawks are 6-1 this season when Gonzalez scores 20 or more, and that's her 20th point, and that will check her out of the game for now. As Nuria Herho, who's been a strong defender, is back onto the floor for the RedHawks. Herho with 3 steals in the game so far. Again, Miami by 20 with 2:23 to go. RedHawks just need to hold on. Smith accelerates, stops underneath the elbow, whips it out for Capaldi. Driving the baseline, sidestepping in. Capaldi can't muscle it through, and the rebound falls to Maya Chandler. Chandler racing forward. 4 Eagles to her side. She pulls up from the elbow and banked it off the elbow, no good. But Lard swipes away on the rebound with the steal. And now the RedHawks have it. Singer back out. Lard saves it somehow, keeping her feet off the sideline, and the RedHawks slow up.
That was quite a play there from Corey Lard. Very acrobatic to keep that ball in.
So the shot clock reset to 20 for Miami, and now it's down to 10. Lard in front of her head coach on the far side, comes off a screen from Richardson, gets to the baseline, behind the back on the dribble with 4, with 3, fades away with 2, and his money at the death of the shot clock. Corey Lard up to 10 points now into double figures, and Miami leads it by 22 with a minute 22 remaining.
I mean, when you're on, right? And just a very contested look there from the mid-range, and right after she made, she gave the little MJ shrug there. Yeah, why not, right?
3 lifted up from Aleko, and that's stuffed off the left side of the rim, but another offensive rebound from Eastern Michigan and Brooklyn Thrash, who gets fouled on the putback attempt. And she will shoot 2 free throws at the line. Claire Chambers coming back on for Miami, as is Camille Jackson, and an ovation to the RedHawks exiting Tamar Singer and Katie Richardson, who both got in some foul trouble but did pretty well to keep from fouling out of the game. Both had 3 fouls for a while, then 4 fouls for a while, and both will exit for probably the final time in this game without having fouled out. Friendly bounce for Brooklyn Thrash to knock down the first free throw.
Yeah, really good job from Singer and Richardson today to not foul out, especially with the losses today with DeFries and Bratton. It was really key to not have any extra disqualifications from this game.
Free throw is missed, and the rebound by the RedHawks. Glenn Box calls a timeout for subs here, so he can bring in Lucretia Edwards and get Maya Chandler off the floor. And so we'll get things started immediately here with 1:03 left to go in the game, 66-45. The RedHawks lead. Bounce pass for Corey Lard. He's going to run some time off the clock here with under a minute to play. Herho left angle. Up top, Edwards. Bouncing for Lard at the key. Lard holding overhead between the circles. Hands off for Herho. Back for Lard. Near flank with 8. Slashes in. Lard leaves it for Jackson, who got bumped inside. And a late foul call from the back official. Coach Nusabe not very happy with it on the Eastern Michigan bench, but that will send Camille Jackson to the free throw line, where she's been lights out for the RedHawks this year, 83% on the season. She's 1 for 2 tonight from the stripe.
Nice no-look pass from Lard there to set that all up.
Yeah, it was. First free throw is made. Lard's having a really nice night.
Yep.
10 points, 5 assists, 5 steals, 3 boards. For a Red Hawk who started a lot of games last year but has embraced a new role with some newfound talent on the roster this season. And Corey Lard really with an excellent game. Second free throw, perfect for Jackson, 68-45. The Red Hawk lead. Shot and game clock separated by 12 seconds. Eastern does have to get a shot up. And they'll run it here from the top of the key with their stars. Cece Aleko be a candidate for MAC Player of the Year at season's end, but she throws it away on the far side. Nuria Herho will bring it up after the steal for the RedHawks. For Herho, that's her 4th. She'll leave it for Lard, and Miami can dribble this one out with 10 seconds to play. Started off a little sluggish for Miami, but they knocked the rust off quickly and dispatch of Eastern Michigan with a 23-point win to move over 500 in the Mid-American Conference. Final in this one, 68-45. The RedHawks victors over the Eagles tonight. This is the type of game that Glenn Box and crew want to play, Bryan. They ended up narrowly winning the rebounding fight at 37-36, but forced 26 turnovers. They were in single digits with just 8. That's been a problem for the RedHawks this year, and they certainly had no trouble with that tonight. They went a little bit cold from 3. They were just 3 of 16 on the game, but again, when you're plus 18 in the turnover department, it's going to be very hard to lose a basketball game.
And they, especially in the second half, were able to capitalize off of those turnovers. 24 points off of turnovers today. Eastern Michigan only with 5. And, I mean, obviously they weren't on from three-point range, as you mentioned, but inside the paint, they were able to be much more effective. 34 points in the paint today for the RedHawks. Eagles only 16.
So the RedHawks pick up back-to-back MAC wins, and now for the final time in the regular season, will head out of MAC play, and they'll be back in action on the road on Saturday. They are heading down to Lafayette, Louisiana for a 1 o'clock date with the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns. And that is part of the MAC Sunbelt Challenge, the back end, after the RedHawks picked up a blowout win to open their season against Appalachian State. That was really a point where we thought this Miami team might look a little different this year. They certainly have. For Glenn Box and crew, it is 71 degrees right now in Lafayette. That will be a wonderful weekend trip for this crew as they head down south here this weekend. We will be back on the air this weekend for the men's MAC Sunbelt Challenge. As again, the second matchup in that showcase on both the men's and the women's side is determined by net rankings in January, which leads to some really good matchups. So for the RedHawk women's team taking on Louisiana, they're sure to have a tight game on the road down south. And for the Miami men, they will take on the Trojans of Troy here at Millett Hall, who are currently taking on James Madison. Troy 15-7 on the year. That should be a fun one for the RedHawks, who will probably have the best team left on their schedule, at least in the regular season, coming up on Saturday in Troy. And you won't want to miss it. It'll be here on RedHawk Radio coming up on Saturday afternoon. And that's the next time we'll talk to you here on our airwaves. Coverage will begin with the RedHawk Radio pregame show at 12:30. And the game beginning at 1 o'clock. Bigger pardon, women's game starts at 3 Eastern on the road in Lafayette on Saturday. Mixed up my start times, and so have a little bit of a later start time. That's good if you're a RedHawk fan. You can catch both games, which can also
that's an easy doubleheader.
Yeah, be found on ESPN Plus. That'll wrap things up for Bryan Miller and I, Luke West Poley. RedHawks dominant win over Eastern Michigan tonight, 68-45. Is your final. When we come back, Andrew Relvas gets you wrapped up with the RedHawk Radio postgame. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Miami women's basketball on RedHawk Radio.
Welcome into the RedHawk Radio postgame show. My name is Andrew Relvas. A big-time victory for the RedHawks, 68-45. A 23-point win for your Miami RedHawks, taking down the Eastern Michigan Eagles. And they pick up MAC win number 6, and they keep pace in the Mid-American Conference tournament race. 6-5 in the MAC now. 13-8 is their record. They improved to 8-3 at home, and they send the Eastern Michigan Eagles packing. They have now lost 15 games in a row, a record of 1-20 overall, and 0-10 in the MAC, and 0-10 on the road. Tough season for Eastern Michigan, and the RedHawks continue to roll here at Millett Hall. How did this one happen? Well, it was a real second-half surge, 25 points in the third quarter. That one really separated Miami from Eastern Michigan. Their best of the game, 25 points. That saw them shooting 10 for 12, 2 for 3 from deep, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. That quarter really saw the emergence of Maya Chandler and Angelina Gonzalez. Those two have been a dynamic duo that has been potent for Miami recently. Their last game, 40 combined. This one they combined for 33. So it's been the classic 1-2 punch of Gonzalez and Chandler that has propelled Miami to another MAC victory. And when you have a pair of guards, you're going to win a lot of games. And with Chandler and Gonzalez, they are certainly shaping up to be a dangerous combo in the Mid-American Conference. The top scorer for Miami, it was Angelina Gonzalez. Her 7th game of scoring 20 or more points a game. Just another phenomenal finish for her. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Maya Chandler, 13 points for her and 2 rebounds. Really good numbers. Amber Treader had 14 points and 6 rebounds. Can't forget Corey Large. She had a great game off the bench. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals. Just a really good player who's been really consistent for Miami this year. The RedHawks shot 44% from the floor, 19% from 3. That was 3 for 16, and 11 for 14 from the free throw line, 79%. And they turned the ball over 8 times, so under 10. Really good numbers there. For Eastern Michigan, the top scorer was Brooklyn Thrash, 9 points and 10 boards. And right behind her, Olivia Smith, 8 points and 3 assists. The Eagles shot 32%, 36% from deep, 8 for 22, and 5 for 9 from the free throw line. They also turn it over 25 times. Gotta respect this RedHawks defense, who forces another really good number of turnovers at home here in Millett Hall. Rebounding numbers as well. Miami out-rebounded Eastern Michigan 37-36, so winning the rebound battle by a slim margin. That's going to do it here from Millett Hall. Miami, big win over the Eagles, 68-45. Their next match will be on the road at Louisiana against the Ragin' Cajuns in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. It'll be Saturday, February 8th at 3 o'clock. Should be a fun one down south. Meanwhile, for Eastern Michigan, they've got the Georgia State Panthers in Atlanta. It'll be a Saturday at 2 o'clock down south, so both these two teams heading down for some warmer weather. Should be a fun one in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. That's going to do it here from Millett Hall. Once again, Miami wins big, 68-45, and the RedHawks' next home game will be in a little bit versus Buffalo on February 22nd. So in about 2 weeks and 3 days, quite a while, the RedHawks are going to be on the road, but trying to get some big road victories in the MAC, and we'll see if they can do it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Miami, a 23-point victory versus Eastern Michigan. My name is Andrew Relvas. Appreciate you for tuning in and spending your Wednesday evening with us. This is a presentation of Miami women's basketball. We'll catch you on Saturday for Miami men's basketball versus Troy here on Red Hawk Radio. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your night.